This is a reading of Brenda's blog titled, It's Time to Fly. Dear ones, even though you are likely frightened or angry by recent global events, those events are starting points for your emotional health. In your outer-directed past, you expected someone to make your life better. The government, your company, friends, or relatives. And if you were among those without similar support systems, you often elected to believe that God, the universes, would perform those functions. Relief was expected from someone outside yourself. That last statement is not to deny those who have tenaciously moved through personal trauma, but instead to point out that such outer-directed beings were in the minority. In the outer-directed world, the concept of being dependent on your own resources seemed impossible. Now that those of you reading this message are new inner-directed beings, some of you find it difficult to understand you're responsible for your earth life. Even though others may save you for various reasons, that will not help you adjust to your new inner-directed world. You are alone, and thankfully so. When you depended on others, you needed to perform certain activities to assure their support. Those activities might have seemed as benign as friendship, as unpleasant as a job you despised, or as seemingly neutral as supporting a political party that performed some of your desired actions, but never all. Your outer-directed world was one of bargaining for what you needed, giving something to receive something. Now that bargaining no longer exists, because most beings are inner-directed, you are at a loss. Can you function in this new world? We of the universes return you to the most basic message of your new world. What does your heart tell you to do? Do you wish to protest, vote, plead, become angry, leave, shout, allow, accept, or ignore? That is your answer and activity. An answer or activity that might change minute by minute. You are no longer bound to anyone or anything. What makes you feel complete, satisfied, or happy? Those are your answers. Anger, fear, or angst might be a starting point because you could feel helpless now that those you once depended upon to make it all better are no longer effective in providing the right actions for you. But after your outer-directed fear and anger subside, what does your new inner-directed message encourage you to do? That is new you. Your outer-directed dependency on others is who you were. Allow yourself to calmly listen to your inner voice, a voice that might be difficult to hear at first, for you're not used to following yourself instead of others. Initially, your outer-directed voice of reason will likely drown out your inner voice. But that will create a sense of loss, distrust, and fear, because the old ways no longer work. Allow that to be. For as you do, your inner voice will become louder. Your inner voice has always been with you. You merely stopped listening. Why do you suppose you liked wearing certain colors, or even attended events that gave you great joy, even though you surprised yourself with your participation? And so it was throughout each of your earth lives, tiny elements of your inner voice directing you to a more joyful life whenever you allowed yourself to listen. Your inner voice was not necessarily reasonable or logical, but more like fairy dust, scattering bits of joy here and there. You are the only being who can make your life better or best. Stop waiting for someone of the earth or the universes to tell you what to do or to do it for you. You are an independent being, functioning as is best for you. Despite your fears when reading that last line, you will not live your life selfishly, for your inner voice is the voice of love, An outer-directed voice bargains and barters, hoping those you bargain with will do as you wish, but never with a guarantee that they can care as much for an action, activity, or philosophy as you. Your inner voice is a trustworthy ally of love. Logic is a bargaining philosophy that may or may not include love, but most definitely includes others. Logic is A plus B equals C. Your inner voice is love, as well as your role in the new world. A role that is not necessarily logical, but a role that only you can complete. This is where you jump off the cliff into the unknown. Not in fear, not even though that is what you will likely feel initially, but in the joy that you can fly. So be it.